Hail, hail, the Celts are here, back for season 5, and we'll get into what that means a little bit more in a second. What the hell do we care now, guys? There's a bunch of you here joining us live and loud. This is a wee bit of an impromptu live stream just back from a kind of weekend away, and we have had new Celtic cards drop. So I thought we would do a bit of a show here to kind of go through the first kind of auctions that are going off and everything like that. I'll explain in more detail what we're getting stuck into as we roll in, but as some of you guys will know, Sorare have partnered with Celtic for the last 5 seasons, and it's been it's been great for me being a Celtic fan, playing fantasy football with Celtic, who kick ass and take names and all the rest of it. And Celtic are one of the pound for pound kind of best teams around there when you compare world football in terms of us versus our opponents domestically, and even last season there was a little bit of development in the Champions League as well. So this is always exciting times for me. We've been doing a show here on the channel for a couple of years on a Thursday night with me and McBride Ace, where we kind of go through tactics and all that kind of stuff around Celtic, the squad developments, whatever, kind of centered around that kind of fantasy football angle of what we see from the Opta statistics that are covered from it and all the rest of it. But Sorare they love Quinny. They love the content here on Celts are here as well. And I said they're huge fans of Celtic. They are Celtic what's the word for it again? Sponsors. I'll just put the comments on the screen here as well. But they've given us a special link today because we've got new early access cards. And I'll explain all this in due course, okay? But for anyone here on Celts are here that goes and makes their own Sorare account, there's a link that's in the description of the video. It's in the live chat. It's in the comment section. By directly clicking on that link and opening your account, you support me, the content here at the channel, everything that goes on at Celts are here. But because it's official merchandise as well, Celtic also benefit from this in kind. So it's fantasy football. We'll get stuck into it. There's a lot of live chat stuff going on around transfers. I'll talk all and everything and anything that we've got to get stuck into today, because there's been a lot going on. I was just live with Paul John on the world famous Axon this afternoon as well. So some good Celtic chat kind of in the blood, and I'm kind of well warmed up for it. So it should be a really exciting one, a really good one. And good to see lots of you guys joining in for the stream today. It should be good fun. And I've got a few layers of explanation to go through just so everyone who watches this can understand the context of everything that's going around. But in essence, Sorare is fantasy football. It's global fantasy football where it's got essentially every major league and club in world football on the platform, with the exception this season of Serie A. Serie A is not coming back for this year. It's a long story. Nobody really cares about it on this channel, certainly anyway. And it's pretty much as simple as that. All the statistics come from Opta, and it's got this very unique scoring matrix that we often feature here on the channel, which is a great kind of yardstick of seeing player performance in matches, even if they're not scoring goals or beating 10 guys on dribbles and all that kind of stuff. You can actually see the players. It's probably the best thing about the game itself is the scoring matrix, where you don't need to be a goal scorer or anything like that, a machine to be effective in it. Really, like, good football players are very effective as well. And it's, pretty much the perfect fantasy football scoring matrix for me, which is always something I really enjoy about the game. So this year, what Sorare do is they sell cards. Okay, now the cards that you buy are the cards that you play in your fantasy football team, which is lovely. I'll just put myself down here. And what they have started doing over the last 2 years is doing what's called early access. Now, this means they don't need to wait for player pictures to come in. It means as soon as a transfer happens, they can release a card for it very quickly and wait for the club to furnish them with the official picture later on. This season's design, I quite like it, to be honest with you. So this is early access. We'll get a reveal in a couple of, maybe a month or so, maybe 6 weeks, once the players have had media day and got their pictures taken. And then this little thing, which looks to me like a bit of a memory card, a little bit of an SD card, will transform into the new design of the cards for this year. They're basically football cards, but online. They're basically digital cards. And the cards that you buy, that you own, compose your 5-a-side fantasy football team for the in-season competitions. And again, I'll explain this as we kind of go on. But Celtic have just released today, along with the rest of the SPFL. I've only got the Celtic on screen here because we're not interested in Rangers cards, and we're certainly not interested in anyone else in the league for the most part. And I just thought I would kind of start with this on screen so you can see what the little chips look like. And this is kind of nice as well to see a layer of what the official squad is. This is the squad that Celtic, I don't know if they submit it or whatever, but this is what is registered as the Celtic first team as we sit at the moment. So, of course, we've got new signing Ben Negren, who, now, I'll also say this, we've got a lot of different variations of cards here. So I normally play with rares. I'll explain that in a second. we've got 2 uniques up for sale now. Uniques, these cards only come out once a season. Okay, so there will only be one Dyson Maeda, there will only be one Kieran Tierney, and they play for a much higher stakes in the game, as it were. So uniques are always like very expensive and very interesting and exciting to watch out for. We've then got what's called a super rare, and these guys will get there'll be 10 issues of these cards every season. So there'll be 10 Hitates, Negrens, etc. All these guys, and they're generally quite expensive for the most part. Not many people play with the uniques and the super rares because of the price of them, of course. People do play with them, but it's just less, of course. I like to play with rares. Rares, they do 100 of these every season. And the reason I went on to explain that just now is you'll see the prices of all of these auctions going off, and I maybe bid on 1 or 2 of them. I've got a bit of a wallet ready to go for today. But make no mistake about it, the number ones are the most expensive by a distance, by a long distance, because you get, it's just nice to have the first one. There's some extra points in the game for owning special editions of cards, and number 1 is a special edition. But from here, the prices come down, and they go down all the way across the season because there's less fantasy football games to play them in, for the in-season competition, that is. Now, the in-season competition, I'll just show you this now, is where you win money on Sorare. So there's 2 modes to win money on Sorare this year. This is called Hot Streaks, where it doesn't really matter where you finish on the leaderboard or anything like that. This is the one for the Celtic League, which is called Challenger. You just need to hit a score. And just by hitting that score, you're guaranteed a cash payout. And if you can chain these scores together, the payout gets bigger and bigger. If you can get 5 streaks in a row, it's 4,000. Is it dollars or euros? The prize board's in dollars. $4,000. All the currencies are paid out in pounds, euros, or dollars. It's whatever you set your settings on. It's a global game, so it has more than one currency available, of course. And I know our Celtic fans all around the world, which is it's a game without borders in that regard. But would you cry it? So that's just for doing a score. It doesn't matter if you finish first or 5,000. If you hit these points, then you get paid out for that. For this, you need to have 4 cards from the current season, and you're allowed 1 older card, what's called a classic, which is fun. But these are the actual leaderboards of the league that Celtic are in. Now, the league Celtic are in is called Challenger. We are in a league with the Portuguese, the Turks, the Danes, and the Austrians. Okay, so we are in this kind of section of not the top 5 leagues, which is England, Germany, France, and Italy. Italy are not on the game this year. They compose what's called Champion Euro, the top 5 leagues in the world, or in Europe or whatever. The Belgian league, the Dutch league, and the MLS are getting their own league-specific competition this year, so they're not in any regions or whatever. And that's Belgium and Holland are very much in the upper echelons of European Football League rankings and whatever, so that just kind of shows you where they're at. MLS also has its own division, but MLS is kind of its own thing anyway, as we all know. And there's a section below Celtic called Contender, and this is just kind of like the best of the rest. It's kind of everyone else in the world: Argentina, Brazil, K and J League, Norway, Croatia. The second divisions of the top 5 leagues are all in here as well. So we play in the Challenger League against those guys. We'll also play in Champions League or Europa League. There are special competitions for these every weekend as well. The prizes for them are not revealed as of yet. But if we ever look at the money that can be won with the guys, again, this is just kind of context, and then we'll get into the actual stuff. I just want to lay this out. The last thing I missed, but sorry, was back on this page here. The ones after the reds are called limiteds. Now, these are the cheapest cards by a long distance because there is 1,000 of them that come out every season. And again, the number 1 is still going to be the most expensive by a long distance, but there is 1,000 of them, so the price of them goes down quite sharply over time, so it's they're the kind of entry level ones that most people kind of play with. Anyway, well, we're almost there, guys. We're almost there. Once I've kind of laid this out, we can just get stuck into it. But anyway, this is how the prize pool is looking for Challenger this season. It's broken into 3 divisions, so you can start further down the food chain, as it were, and work your way up. But Division 3, not got much in there. A couple of $5, $10 payouts at the top of it as you get promoted. Top prize is $60. Division 2, top prize is $200, with again the top 100 getting paid out some cash. And then in the top division, there's 1,200, and this is every weekend. So Celtic play 38 games in the Scottish League. So 38 times this season, this will be what's on offer, depending on what division you're in and where you finish as well, of course. For rare, it looks like this, and you can see from the prize pool, it kind of dictates the price of the cards because of what you can win with them. With rare, the ones I generally play with, the top division, the top prize is $2,000 as an example, and as you can see, it scales back the way. The blue ones that we looked at and the uniques, there is only one division they both play in. There's a lot more money involved. There's a lot less people that play in it. But yeah, that's just the way it is, sort of thing. Excellent. So I think we've kind of done the would you make it? The context and layout behind it. Now, this is the 5th season that Celtic are on. I've been buying Celtic cards and competing with them all 5 seasons. This is the shirt I'm wearing today. This was season 1 that we had, Ange Postecoglou's first season. I've not got ball and golly. I refused. I ended up buying a Barkas, but I'm not buying a ball and golly. I just refused to. We've got a wee Dane Murray rookie card in there as well from back in the day. So it's only took him 4 years to become useful. And it is fantasy football. So if they don't play football, they're not really worth having unless you plan on, just like me, collecting them. Same as this Johnny Kenny card. There's not many Johnny Kennys before this season. A Jetty, Mikey Johnson, whatever. So this will be me buying Celtic cards for the 5th season. Now, the cards that are not of this current season, so all these old ones I'm showing you now, they play in the classic game mode, which is 7-a-side fantasy football. And the only thing you can win with playing with older cards is the new cards. So if you don't have the money to go and buy 1,000 new cards or whatever, the idea is generally if you have older cards, you can use them and play with them as well. And it's just nice to see the kind of collections. I thought I'd show them off. I've got a wee rookie Ben Summers in here as well, which is fun. A wee rookie Rocco Vata. I've got so many Daisa Maedas at this point. It's unreal. Joe Hart's retired, obviously. We've sealed him away. And then, yeah, so I'm just showing you the different designs, I suppose, as well as a wee bit of memory lane on some of the squads that we've had over the last couple of years. But yeah, I'm really excited for this. I see I've saved up a wee bit of a wallet. These are the cards we had last season. I quite like the design we had last year. I've got a special edition, the Rocky. I wish I got some other special editions. We've got a wee AJ there, which is fun, a Christmas AJ. And yeah, there's a wee Schlupp midfielder card, which was weird at the time. And yeah, I like these designs. I was quite a fan of these when they came out this year. And yeah, I think that's pretty much the size of it for the kind of the background, as it were. There's a bunch here joining us live and loud. Thanks to everyone that's joined us live. A nice wee 10-minute kind of intro there. So yeah, like I say, all the players play fantasy football, and the score is based on Opta statistics, and Sorare's scoring matrix will rank them out of 100, depending on the actions that they make in the game. There's a lot of excitement around Ben Nygren, because Ben Nygren, back in Copenhagen, back in Denmark, I beg your pardon, just because I've seen Copenhagen there, was an absolute phenom. Scores very similar to Jota, very similar to like peak Daisen Maeda and whatever. So he's going to be a very useful forward card. All the positions are forward, midfielder, and defender. It doesn't go any more detailed than that. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this as well, because it's the first year Celtic won't need to worry about playing against PSVs and stuff like that, because they've got their own link, their own squad at the moment. And you can also mix and match these as well across different leagues and all the rest of it. So I don't just play Celtic cards all together. I'll maybe mix them in with some other players from around world football that kind of work and that sort of thing. So yeah, the in-season competition where you play for money is 5-a-side, and the classic side of the game where you play with cards that, you know, even if we just look at Celtic cards quickly at the moment. Yeah, here we go. So I've got the filter on for Celtic. Let's look at rares. These are all the classic ones, significantly cheaper than what the in-season ones go for, because they're older. You can play one of these cards in the in-season team to help you win money. But yeah, generally you can't use that many of them. So there's not that many of them that go for still like a punchy price. When they go to classic, they get quite cheap, quite quick, as I mentioned. And the thought of this is I'm going to be maybe bidding on some cards. Now, like I mentioned already, the one-offs are the most expensive by a long distance, and I don't know how many one-offs I'll go for. I did put a wee cheeky bid on Kieran Tierney, because I've not got any Kieran Tierney Celtic cards. Of course, no one does. McBride Ace, friend of the channel, is bidding on all of these like mad. McBride is about to go on holiday. He was in Glasgow Airport Departure Lounge. He's probably on the plane by now, so he's been scattering out a bunch of bids already. I've got an Arsenal Tierney and I've got a Sociedad Tierney, so I'm a little bit ahead of the game on Tierney's, as it were. But a Celtic Tierney and a number 1 would be good. But I didn't realise it was McBride that was bidding on this, so I probably wouldn't have bothered. But the bid is up at 73 quid for a wee KT, which will be a sentimental card more than anything. But like I mentioned earlier, this is the squad that Celtic have submitted. Some of you guys want to chat squad and transfer, so we can kind of do 2 things at once. But we've got the likes of, what I thought was interesting was Quan is in here still as part of the squad. We get Adam Montgomery as part of the registered squad at the moment. Same with Welsh, Josh Clark as well. Marco Telio, although we know he's exit bound at the moment. Lewis Palma, and new signing Callum Osmond, which will be fun. Maybe he'll be a wee kind of rookie card. Top trumps, yeah, kinda, but on actual scores, because there's no like fixed value like top trumps has on the cards. What the top trump score is essentially is their performance in SO5 or SO7 fantasy football based on Opta statistics, where there's about 240 stats that get captured to make up their score. So it's quite a good. Yeah, James Forrest might be a funny one to pick up. I've got so many James Forrests as well. It's untrue. But yeah, I've got a bit of a wallet sitting for this, so I thought I would go after it. Can you play Snap with them? No, you can't. You can play fantasy football with them, or you can have a little kind of sticker book thing on the go with them as well, like I've got here. I've not really been a guy that's a completionist on this, where I'm like, oh, I need to get every card in every season. I like to have a copy of everyone. So as you've seen, I had like the Johnny Kennys and the Dane Murrays, even when they weren't any use to me. But yeah, you just kind of get the sticker book element to it, as well as the fantasy football kind of element to it as well. And if you see the intro track that we run on the show here, a lot of the tickets that I got for Celtic, especially the fancy ones, came from Sorare. As I say, Sorare are an official partner with all of these clubs. So when they sell their cards, it's just like, you know, like Panini selling Celtic cards or whatever, they get a cut, they get some revenue from that. And as you can see, the price of some of the cards is pretty chunky, you know, so it's definitely a nice wee revenue generator for Celtic, as it were. And it's one of those ones where, like, I found it a really great alternative to gambling personally. Like, I've been playing Sorare since 2020, and I think I've put on like 3 or 4 bets since then, and a lot of that's been Cheltenham, because Cheltenham's normally around my birthday, St. Patrick's Day. I don't have a sticker book anymore. But yeah, so yeah, I just really love it. I'm a big fan of it, and it's a big part of the insight I get to a lot of the Celtic players that we talk about here on the channel. Underperformance, overperformance. A lot of you guys that have been here on the channel before will recognise the scoring kind of bars and whatever, the websites. Liam Scales, the phenomenon. You know, the centre backs will be a funny one. Some of you guys wanted to mention Vickers. Will we chat Vickers? I'll try and keep up with the chat, but it's been absolutely flying away, guys. I'm happy to chat about Celtic topics in conjunction with this. Just throw me one and we'll run with it. But Carter Vickers is normally one of the best defenders in the game, because he plays for us every time he's fit and available. We keep a lot of clean sheets, especially now that we've got Kasper Schmeichel in goals. But yeah, big man's a rock at the back. You can rely upon him. You can put him in your best team, no problem at all. He's not going to score many goals or anything like that, but he is quite good for getting a wee last man tackle or a wee clearance off the line, which is a decisive action, which is worth just as much as a goal in this game. There's not many of those things, but those are the two that defenders can pick up. And yeah, he can get a bit of that because we defend so high, and he's got to run back and make a big challenge or a tackle or something like that. But yeah, so Carter Vickers is kind of coming back from his injury thing, isn't it? So early season Carter Vickers, I'm not expecting much from him, but as the season goes on, I think he'll be, you know, just the same as he was before, one of the best defenders in the game. Yeah, Pete McGee. Yeah, maybe just some more money for the board to sit on, of course. I don't think it's up there with the Adidas deal or anything like that, but I dare say outside of Adidas, like Sorare probably generates like a fair chunk of revenue when it comes to outside sponsors for Celtic, because they make money as well on secondary transactions and all sorts of stuff, you know. But I need to, yeah, I was a big Panini guy as well, big Football Manager guy as well, as me growing up as a kid. And I find this is a really good type of meld between the two of them. How much is a James McCarthy? Great question. I've got a James McCarthy special edition from the season he might have played for us, funnily enough. But he's, yeah, people are just on the bump with the McCarthys right now, I think, aren't they? A rare. There's not many actually for sale, I don't think. Yeah, there's not many for sale. So someone wants £4 for it, but I dare say you would pick it up for 50p or whatever. It's funny how many days it's funny how many seasons McCarthy was there for picture day. Wow, he's got 4 seasons of cards. Oh no, he didn't get a picture last year, but he did get issued out of the squad. But he was at media day for all the rest of them. Yeah. Well, there is that as well. Adidas getting stuck into it as well, with all their merch and everything. Just stick 3 stripes on it and sell it out. Yeah. So, yeah, Dies of Maeda. Look at the price of Kasper Schmeichel already. Schmeichel is firmly one of the best keepers in the game. Like I mentioned, the number one is always the most expensive by a long distance. And the funny thing about goalkeepers is they're always quite expensive because there's only one of them in a real team. So subsequently, the amount of options you've got for your fantasy team is kind of handcuffed there a little bit. Whereas with fullbacks or defenders, how many of them start for any team? Many, many more than goalkeepers, of course. Let's have a look at limited Schmeichels because, like I say, there's a link and it's all over the place. It supports the channel and all the content we make here. That gets you £100 a credit. Now, I've tried to ask Sorare today just to absolutely confirm. Yep, and they've just sent me a message. So that £100 credit is available on sign up. No need to buy your first 5 cards. The first 5 cards will be an add-on. Excellent. So when you click on that link and sign up directly, you will already have €100, pounds, dollars, whatever your currency is, of credit straight away. Now, I don't recommend spending any of that credit on the one-offs, even if it is like a squad guy that goes really cheap, because it's always going to be the most expensive version of them. Today is day one of the auctions, the early access stuff. So as we get to, with the limiteds, they'll probably sell about 50 or 60 of these before we play a match. But as more and more cards come out, the price will come down and come down and come down. And having £100 of a discount on a limited team, so the kind of entry level ones, like it would make the Schmeichel a bit cheaper, but Schmeichel will probably still be pretty expensive. Yeah, he's at £100 at the moment. That'll come down. But sincerely, one of the best keepers in the game. A clean sheet machine last year. Maybe didn't finish off the season too well, but Schmeichel, very, very formidable goalkeeper. You can put in your team every week and not really worry about it, which is good crack. And some of the more exciting players, like Jota is an interesting one right now because he's injured, so he'll be really cheap until he comes back from injury. But Jota, when he plays, is, again, one of the best forwards available, I think, on his previous Celtic scores anyway. We've obviously not seen him in a few years at this point. But Jota's one of these guys that loves to beat guys on the dribble, makes lots of chances, and with 1 goal or assist can get over 75 points out of 100 quite easily. And when Jota's on it, this is the last time he was at Celtic. No, this is actually just when he came back, I think, wasn't it? April 23. No, 23. No, this is 2 years ago. So this is before we sold him to Saudi, before it kind of ties off there at the end. But getting Jota in and maybe sitting tight on him until he returns from injury could be a shrewd move for people on a budget. Arnie Engels taking penalties and set pieces was quite a decent scorer last year without being, as you can see here from his ratings, without being spectacular. He was okay. He was good enough, wasn't he? Fantasy football wise. John Cleese and Basil Fawlty. Play your cards right. That's exactly it, man. That's exactly it. Play your cards right. Taribo West. I don't think Taribo West is in this game. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it myself. I think there's a really good prize pool on offer as well, considering the amount of leagues that we're in competition with. The Portuguese league, Sorare only sell cards for the top 3 clubs, Sporting, Porto and Benfica, so we're directly against them. In Turkey, they only sell cards for the top 4 clubs, so Besiktas, Fenerbahce, Gala, and I think they do maybe Istanbul, Başakşehir, or maybe somebody else. Denmark, you've got the likes of Brøndby, Midtjylland and whatever. SPFL, they've got the full league. And in Austria, they've got the full league, so Salzburg, Rapid, and everyone else. So even, by the way, this is an interesting little one, but Marco Tilio, so this is a Celtic card right now. If he transfers to Rapid Vienna, you will be able to open this card or whatever when the pictures come out for him being Rapid Vienna, and he'll change into a Rapid Vienna card. But if you're a Celtic fan, it makes more sense to not open him because he'll stay kind of like in the Celtic gang, as it were. He'll be a Celtic card unless you open it. But that's kind of the benefit here of early access. If players move, they're still part of it. I already got 2 Celtic in-season players for this season already because I've been acting on transfer rumours. I brought in a Shin Yamada 13 days ago for a tenner, which I thought was quite a good wee one. And yeah, he won't play that often for us, but for a tenner, and he's a current season card as well. So at least until Christmas or whatever, that will do me okay. No two worries about it. And I got in Amura as well. So again, I don't know how much he'll play, but he'll count, even though he's not wearing the right shirt or whatever. I can still play him in my Celtic teams and all the rest of it because he is a Celtic player. It's just the kit and the card when it's issued, what it looks like. And again, that's part of the game where one of my lights just fell over. That's kind of part of the game where even if guys transfer and they move on, you still own the card, you can still play it, you can still use it in fantasy football, as it were. If I click on my homepage for a second, have I got a good example of that? Maybe lying around somewhere. That's the Seattle stack. Maybe look at my cards. No, what's the page I'm looking for? It's over here. There we go. This page here. Yeah, so Florian Wirtz, for example. Now that he's moved to Liverpool, I will be using him as a Liverpool card. I've had this card for years, as you might imagine. One of my best wins ever. I got a Negren. Somebody's asking about Negren. Now, this is the number one. So Negren's going to go for a lot because he's a very high-scoring card already. But I bought Negren and I bought Balikwisha. I've got Negren for £25. He's going to go for a lot. This will be an old card, but now, or actually, will it be? No, it will be. This will be a classic card. This won't be in season. So his classics are probably around the £40 mark, I would guess. I've got a Balikwisha here at £17. So if I want in-season versions of them to play for money, or I can use them. I can use this Negren as my one old card with my new ones, of course, like I mentioned already. So I've done a wee bit of forward planning there, I guess you could say. But the first Negren is going to go for a fair chunk, and that's kind of one of the things I wanted to have a wee look at here. Shop cards. Celtic are up first and foremost, the stars of the show, of course. I've got the Premiership tab on here. I'll click on Rare because there's just less volume of cards to go through. And you'll have a wee gander. You'll be able to see all the other. Like James Tavernier was one of the best players in the game when he was taking all those penalties. And he has went for a lot of money before. It was really funny because Rangers weren't on this game for about 3 years when Celtic were. And, you know, like I'm not saying the amount of money they make from Sorare cards is that amazing or whatever. But Rangers missed out on a lot of money out of selling James Taverniers over the years. I'll tell you that for nothing, because the guy just, when they get a clean sheet and he scores a goal, he just gets so many points. He just ranks off the charts. A lot of their new signings are in already. And this will happen with us as we confirm transfers like Yamada and whatever. Their Celtic cards will go on sale as quick as the admin team at Sorare can put them on. And then you're just waiting for the picture before you can open it and transform it from this early access like chip or whatever we're going to call it. Last year it was a packet. You maybe seen them on one of the screens where we're looking at before. It just looked like a condom wrapper is what we've been calling it, because it just looks like that. And then here's the Hibees if you're a Hibs fan. And yeah, the rest of the league is on it. It's 8 pages of cards here, as you can see. So maybe you're a fan of one of their teams, you fancy having a wee day in the sun. Probably not on this channel, but I don't mind picking up guys from around the league that have scored well. Like I've got a classic Mitov, because again, goalkeepers are just handy to have. He also plays for Bulgaria. International football is also covered in this game, as well as Champions League, Europa Conference League, and whatever. So maybe there's sometimes, I like the guy in the Hibs team that done this, or so there's room for that. It's a fantasy team. It doesn't need to be all Celtic guys you play. You could play 3 Celtic guys and 2 Aberdeen guys, or 3 Celtic guys and 2 Sporting Lisbon guys, or you can mix it up like that depending on the competition you're playing in. If you're playing with the old cards where it's 7 aside, it's global, so you can play them with Premier League players and whoever you want. But if you're playing for money, you need to stick to those regions that we looked at early enough. But Negren, his rare, wow, has got 30 minutes to close. This is a lot, by the way. He is approaching 300 quid. Now, the fact that he's a forward card is very powerful, because forwards don't score. Actual forwards don't actually score that great because they don't touch the ball that often. And if he's going to play midfield and score goals and make assists for us, he is going to be one of the best players around. Make no mistake about it. I find this really high, but it is these are all the old Nordisland ones, but it is the number one. And like I say, the number one always goes a fair amount more. Interesting to see where McBride had his limit up at the 290 quid mark. But yeah, the ones always go for a lot more. I'm definitely wanting a few of these myself. I'm just trying to weigh up. Like, I don't think I'll be going for number one Ben Negren, because it'll take up around half of my budget for in-season Celtic cards that I've got at the moment, and I don't really want to do that. Last year, what I did was, if I can just go to this tab again. Last year, what I did is I bought all the kind of squad guys earlier. Maybe I'll just filter this by Celtic to make it a bit easier. Get 84 Celtic cards. No, definitely getting up to 100, won't we? Right, so is this page 1? Yeah, this is page 1. So last season, I managed to get Kuhn. I thought he was like a wee bit under the radar. I thought he did well in the first 6 months, although Celtic fans didn't really agree. And he obviously had a great year. So I got Kuhn. Dyson was a bit underpriced because Dyson's got lots of cards on the game at Yokohama and Celtic. James Forrest I got. He was quite cheap. Bernardo was cheap. Valley, Mikey Johnson, Sinisalo. So I tried to get all the kind of, just kind of little cheap first team guys off the bench before kind of stumping up for the Schmeichel, which, it is what it is, isn't it? Got Ida cheap. I got Trusty really cheap. I think that was when he was injured. I got him for £14. And this is what I mean. The prices come down. These are rares, the ones that we're looking at the moment. That's the number 24 Trusty I got there. The number 62 McCowan I got for 11 quid. Carter Vickers, number 62, I got for 90 quid. So you can see like the price comes right down to these. Engels was taking set pieces, so he was always quite expensive this year. And this is kind of the order I went through this year for buying them. I ended up not getting AJ till later. I got Engels later. I got a second Schmeichel eventually because you can play up to 4 lineups as well. So having like 4 Engelses or Schmeichels or whatever can be quite valuable because then you don't need to pick what team he goes in. You can just put him in all your teams if you're really that. Triantis is currently on pre-season with Sunderland. They don't know what they're going to do with him. But Triantis last year, by the way, Triantis was very, very good in our league. And if Hibs do get him back, he would be an interesting guy to look at from a Hibs perspective. Look at these scores, like very effective box-to-box midfielder and could get a goal or an assist himself as well. Not great all the time, but this was a kind of Hibs thing, wasn't it? They were kind of rubbish for spells of the season. He gets sent off there as well. He actually gave away we gave away 3 penalties in the first 8 games of the year or something. Did I see Callum at under 20? Yeah, McGregor goes quite cheap again as well because McGregor is good, but he's not like super exceptional. Let's have a look at McGregor. Where is he at? I might buy a McGregor. Oh no, McGregor's up at. So McGregor's, he's going to play every week, which is a huge value factor. But as you can see, he's not always that great. He's pretty solid. He's getting like what we would call a high floor. Like, he doesn't really let you down. He'll never kill a team. He'll make a team for you as well, but not always. But yeah, McGregor, the ones are hard for me to go, oh, that's a bargain, because as I say, they all just get cheaper and cheaper over time. I like the look of the wee Callum Osmond and those kind of guys, certainly, because they could be fine. I don't think I could pay this amount of money for Yang early season, especially with some of the transfer rumours around him and whatever. McCowan wouldn't be too bad, because McCowan's going to get off the bench every game. But again, at 50 quid, I don't think I'm that interested in that. The one-offs will be tough, I think. I think that looking at pre-season, I might actually fancy myself for a wee Trusty, maybe more than a Vickers. Vickers is already up at £250 for a rare. I'll look at limited pricing, because some of you guys, if you do start playing, you don't need to sign up right now to get that bonus. That bonus is just on the link that's on the channel. So as long as you click at any time, you'll get sorted. Caden, I would love to re-explain it, but I kind of took the first 15 minutes of the show doing that. So I don't want to be rude, but best thing to do if you want the breakdown is jump back to the beginning of the show and catch us up. Jota is expected to be injured until December, January, I think at the earliest. Negren is like maybe a third of the price, give or take, from limited to rare at the moment. Schmeichel and Vickers, let's see what McGregor's about a third of the price at the moment. Vickers is only half. As I say, Vickers is one of the best defenders by a long way because he's just so good for us. Schmeichel up at 100 quid isn't too surprising, because considering the amount of money that's available to win with these guys, like over most weekends, like Celtic are like a Division 1 level stack. Like if you do have a strong Celtic contingent, you will be bouncing between Division 1 and Division 2, depending on if one of your guys randomly plays or not. Sometimes Celtic might just bench Vickers out of nowhere. Those weekends are very painful for guys like me and McBride. So you'll bounce between Division 1 and 2 for the most part, and you can see the sort of prize money that's on offer for finishing in the good spots there. These other things here are in-game items. The one that looks like a little capsule is called Essence, and that's kind of like shards. If you get enough Essence, you can basically just generate a card out of the game. So even by finishing in these high-ranking places, you will win more cards to furnish your team with, give you more options, that sort of thing. And then with the cheaper cards, this is what you're looking at. Same sort of thing, but just kind of scaled and watered down a little bit, isn't it? And then if you don't fancy playing leaderboards, you don't need to choose. Both these things are available in tandem with one another. But there's also the streaks, which is like playing the game, beating the game, where having them score. And remember, that's 5-a-side. Every player scores between 0 and 100. If you can get them to score 400, there's other bonuses. You pick a captain as well. So it's not as plain as you need them to get an 80 average. You'll probably need like a 70 average with bonuses to achieve that. You get 20 quid. And that's every time Celtic play a league match, essentially. Maybe not, maybe there'll be one or two if we need to reschedule fixtures into midweek. They might not have that available to it. So we'll just need to wait and see how that shakes out. If the next week you can go 20 points better, you get 40 quid. Another 20 points better, $200 this is. So it'll translate into pounds accordingly because you'll set pounds on your account, obviously, as your preferred currency. 20 points more, $800 at 460. That's like a really good score. That's us smashing somebody. And if you can do that concurrently, week on week, get to 510, it's pretty chunky. And you could hit 510 points and finish, like 100th on the leaderboard. It won't matter. You'll still get that prize, so. I think Yamada will be useful. I think I could see Yamada getting around the kind of 8 to 10 goal mark this season for us. I think he'll be a very useful striker. And I've been kind of saying, like, I see Yamada as the O replacement more than anything. The guy that at this point is probably being earmarked to get off the bench every game, will play on, when we look back at the season, Yamada will probably feature in 90% of matches, but only start like 8 or something like that. So I think Yamada will be ever present for us and subsequently will be in amongst the goals and assists or whatever. It'll be interesting to see him when he gets going. So I also think Johnny Kenny will be able to live that life as well. Yeah, what you do with your pocket money, each to their own and all that. This is what I like to do with mine, certainly. And like personally, like for me, it's just it's a good gambling alternative, and it's like football cards and stickers and stuff like that. It's a kind of thing that ticks a lot of boxes for me. No, you can pick anyone, McLaughlin P. So, can I maybe find a different tab here and show you an example? If I go back all the way back to May, is this a weekend? I'm not sure if this is a weekend or whatever. I'll be able to show you some teams from last season once it loads up. But the answer is no. You can play. So the league that Celtic are in has the Portuguese, the Danish, the Turkish, and the Austrian league in it as well. If you're playing in the money league, but if you play with older cards and you play the classic format, it's 7-a-side fantasy football, and that is global. You can play with any player you want. There's no restrictions in that regard. Where is the Celtic stuff? Down here, Contender. So last year we were in Contender, which is the bottom division. We've been moved up the rankings, which is good, mainly because Belgium and Holland have got their own leagues. But this is a Celtic stack with Mitov in goals because I just didn't have the money for 3 goalkeepers. And then, so I've got like Hitate defender in here with Navas, Shaqiri, Berardi, Luis Enrique. I've got a bit of a mix on the go there. And Ralston played this game against Rangers. And this was a derby match. This one, the 1-1 draw. I've played Martin Boyle as captain. Martin Boyle was fun to have last year. I quite enjoyed him. Ajeti actually scores quite well now. He's in Switzerland as well. And that's what I mean. Like, you keep the cards you can sell them as well for money. Obviously, any cards you win, you can sell. So again, a lot of people like that element of the game, buying guys for cheap, selling them for more later on. Like Matt O'Reilly, I still use this even when he plays for Brighton. So you've got that kind of element to the game as well, that kind of football manager angle if you follow people through their career. Because of that, I'm a big Jordan Larson fan, which probably is a bit of a tell. Lennon Miller was good fun to have last year in teams as well. He was fun. And there's under 23 as well. This is in our competition that runs, which is basically the Wonder Kid division. You can play anyone from any league, but as of the 1st of June, they need to be under 23. So it's like a youth league kind of thing for younger players, and you can play them from any league in the world. Yeah, so it's 5-a-side for like the money leagues, and then for the classic one where you're playing just for cards. I'll see if there's a breakdown of that somewhere I can show you. You can play anyone from any league, and that's 7-a-side fantasy football. And the idea is the longer you play the game, you can just mix your cards together and whatever. The North and South American leagues are included as well. Yeah, everything, mate. Everything. In terms of Brazil, there's not that many clubs licensed at the moment because I say this is official like sponsorship arrangements that Sorare iron out. So like Corinthians have been on it, Palmeiras are on it. There's no Sao Paulo or Flamengo. There might be Fluminense. There's a bunch of them. There's not that many. Argentina, I've got a bunch. Mexico, I've got a bunch. It's Global Fantasy Football. The J and the K League are on it, not the A League, sadly. Yeah, that's like a good thing a lot of people do in McLaughlin P. The best thing to do would be, as I say, wait for the number ones to go away or buy older cards if you want. Older cards, the discount thing that you've got from the link won't work. The discount credit you get is only on auctions, which is what we are watching happen now. But after a few auctions go off, this instant buy tab here is just like going to the shop and buying it off the shelf. Once they've got a sense of the prices of the cards for Celtic and whatever else, they then go into instant buy. And this price is fixed. Your market credit's applicable to this as well. So if you see anyone at a good price, you might want to just instant buy them or go on auction. I've not got any credits available, sadly. But yeah, I would wait certainly until the number ones go. And yeah, like it's good for that picking 5 goal scorers and guys that take set pieces and whatever. Is always a good strategy. It's always good fun. And as I say, I've used it predominantly as a gambling alternative. So initially, it took me a bit of a time to get a team together because I used to do it quite methodically where I would look at the weekend and I would go, right, because I used to gamble quite a bit, so I watch a lot of football, I'd be interested in it. And I'm that sort of guy where I like to go, I knew that would happen. It's just kind of me, really. So I'd maybe look at the weekend fixture list and go, okay, I'd maybe put a tenner on that thing on Friday night. Saturdays always get 20 or 30 quid. Oh, Celtic are playing Sunday. I'd maybe put 50 quid on a goal scorer. What does that add up to? 90 quid, right? Well, what cards could I get for 90 quid? 1, 2, 3 cards, whatever it is. So I did that for my first 2 months playing the game. And it took a while to build a team in that kind of fashion, but I didn't want to go overboard. And I did genuinely just want it to replace other activities that I've had. And yeah, this is kind of my cheat code into doing the content that I do because I'm right across all of this. You know what I mean? I don't get to watch quite as much last season. Sorry, I didn't get to watch quite as much football as previous because of all of my activities doing this. I had my own studio and I had 3 TVs on the wall, and I just watch everything. The Negren's getting 20 put on him to score V11. Yeah, you know that. Negren's definitely. But that's the thing with betting. What if Negren gets an assist? Or what if his goal becomes an OG? That doesn't really help you for Sorare, actually, to be honest with you. If it's an OG, it's an OG, but that kind of thing. That's one thing I really like about this versus betting because, so last season, for example, I bought a player called Asan Diao, who was very impressive at Real Betis and moved to Como. And I just knew this guy's going to do great in Italy. I think Cesc will work really well with him. And if I just backed him to score like every week or whatever, it probably wouldn't have worked out that well. But by buying his card and then just playing him in teams, whenever he scored, I was like, brilliant. There's that team up and running. So I didn't need to be right with the game that he played well in. And sometimes he wouldn't score. He would make an assist or win a penalty. Winning a penalty, as long as the penalty gets scored, is the exact same as scoring a goal as well in terms of the value for it in the game. Yeah, I think the Negren is good for a goal or an assist projection-wise in every game. Oh, there you go. So you know who I'm talking. There you go. You know exactly who I'm on about then. Really nice player. Really nice player. Got an ACL injury, and he's not going to be. He's actually been pictured on the bike. Tizolis. Oh, if you like Tizolis, Tizolis is a punchy player. Bruges are going to be keeping him. It feels like, but Tizolis is a machine. Didn't do that well against us. Where's the game against us? He got 49 out of 100. He got 2 contests won, which is like a 1 dribble. He goes by a guy. 4 balls played into the box. 4 attempted assists. 12 passes in the final third. Did all right against us. Had a red card. Gave away 2 penalties as well last year. Gave away a penalty against Aston Villa. Then got the assist to make up for it. So these things here, like goals and assists, penalty conceded, they're called decisive actions. And they kind of balance off each other and they work on their own scale of like big numbers. And then everything else, like passing and tackling and whatever, goes into their all-around score, which is like smaller points because there's a higher volume of those actions. and then those numbers go together to make their score, essentially. Simon Banza, have a wee peek at him. Name rings a bell, but it's not someone. Oh, he's a Braga player. Braga aren't licensed, but this guy has cards from when he was at Turkey. Trabzonspor. That's their Turkey team that we get. He's been all right. He's been all right. I think he's maybe just moved to Braga. This all looks like Turkish games he's been scoring well in. So again, if you notice guys like this McLaughlin P, like Simon Banza's 11 quid. This is a classic card, an older one. You could play him with Celtic players, but whether he's at Turkey or Braga, because they're in the same league. So he could be like your cheap forward. Pulisic is wild. I'll show you this. I know this is a Celtic show, but I'll show you Pulisic because he was winning so many dribbles in Italy and he was on corners, set pieces. So Pulisic, if he did get a goal or an assist, was just going off. This wasn't even the good times. We'll scroll back because there was a period where, Pulisic was just absolutely crazy good in Italy at AC Milan. So, he's been pretty solid for it. £25 for a classic version of him. And again, if you had a fully classic team, like not the ones that are on sale right now, but the older versions of the cards, you could play Pulisic with Celtic players. No problem at all. And actually, do you know what? See, because Serie A isn't on right now, Italy is actually playable with Celtic cards for money because Serie A doesn't have a place to go. So you can actually play Pulisic with Celtic in any format. Dennis Mann, is that the guy that's at Parma? Yeah, I think he's been all right. Parma have been so bad last year, but I don't think he's... Yeah, if he gets his decisive, he's doing all right, but they're not getting the ball often. They're not dominating matches. So if he doesn't score or assist, he's not really doing much. And Amrabat, there's two of them. So yeah, Sofian is still at Fenerbahce, and he's been doing okay. This is what I mean. Seeing most fantasy football games, a guy like this would score 0 points or 1 point or whatever for starting the game, whereas he has the ability to get into that 60 range from just passing and tackling and stuff like that. He's maybe not a great example because he's not that great. Caicedo is probably one of my favourites. I won a Caicedo last year, the Chelsea player. But he can get decisives, but he doesn't need them. 84 points here out of 100 without scoring a goal or making an assist or anything. So he's like a good example of those types of guys that can just hit a big score in any match at any time, really. Similar to the old Amrabat kind of profile there. So Negren's get 15 minutes. I don't know if he'll break 300, but this will be an interesting one to watch. And I should probably put a bid or two out there and try and pull somebody in. Trusty's jumped up a wee bit in price. That doesn't look as exciting to me anymore. And so I need to get... I'll be able to play one classic Celtic card next year. It's probably going to be Schmeichel to start off with because the price of this Schmeichel and the next couple is probably going to be a wee bit too rich for my blood. So I'm probably going to be playing Schmeichel. Dyson, wow. I don't think Dyson Maeda has ever been this expensive in relation to the rest of the team. His scores last year, he really, Dyson before that run he just went on, wasn't that great of a card. This is me going all the way back to 2023 here. As you can see, he did score okay. It was very sporadic, though. Not that great. And then when we get closer to this season coming up, and then Kyogo leaves in January, and then look at Dyson, man, just turned into a monster. Multi-decisive, a lot more all-around, a lot more link-up play actually happening with the forwards in the absence of Kyogo. And Dyson has really emerged as being a very prolific forward, plays all the time as well, which is very valuable. And if he leaves, he would be a Brentford card. You could still use him, so it's one of those ones. And maybe him being an in-season Premier League player would make him worth more money, perhaps. Don't bring the mood down. Yeah, we won't bring the mood down. Is that about Dyson leaving? But yeah, I fancy myself. If the Osman stays kind of cheap, I don't want to spend that much money on him. I kind of think 15 quid is. Yeah, McBride's already got a bid on him. I think I would place a bid of 1888. I think I would do that. If we get it for 1888, it's meant to be. No, we're not. Is the McBride is still bidding on it? We'll leave him to it. We don't want to run him up and cost him money. We've been outbid on that. Okay, we'll leave that one to him. Fancied the wee Osmond, but we'll get another one of him. He'll go cheap quickly. The wee Clark, not too bored about him, but again, some of these backup guys might not actually get that many issues. Maybe stick a tenner on him. Who's bidding on this? Probably McBride as well, isn't it? It is. Jumping Jimmies. I see. I'm not going to. Yeah, if McBride's on all the cheap ones, this is part of the advantage of getting your bid in early as well. Engels is one I think might go under the radar. Same with Hatate, because we do have issues with them in seasons gone by. Engels' position in the squad is maybe a little bit more in jeopardy now that we have Negren. I think Hatate is probably a good punt for me to go after. Midfielder card. I'm going to put 110 on this. Nope, it's jumped up. What does McBride have it at there? Is McBride just going to... Do we just let McBride get all the one-offs, maybe? Is that what we do? It'll make it hard to beat McBride then, but because then he'll have a bit of a head start on as well, the special editions. But yeah, if McGregor's up at 130, I guess Hatate kind of needs to be in that zone. I don't mind Scales, but he's, again, went quite punchy there. Do people think... Again, it's just people just running McBride up, isn't it? I think McBride's bid on everything, and it's just about people who's going to run him up the most. McBride's going to get off the plane and have every single one of these, isn't he? And I'll be fighting for the rest with the crowd, probably. AJ could be a good sneaky one, by the way, because he is... Again, AJ is one of the best defenders around, especially when he gets into the final third. Yeah, I think I'm a defender. I'm going to go for AJ. I would like to go for Tierney, but I think the injury record worries me. And the one-off, well, maybe not, actually. Let's see. The one-off premium might not be too bad. Because I do want a Tierney. And yeah, the price of Ida here. Yeah, I don't know how many of these one-offs I'll actually go for in the end, because I'm quite confident I would get one or two of them a bit cheaper. I'm definitely going to go for the Ralston, I think. I'm definitely going Ralston. So let me make a wee note of this, right? I've got the thick end of 800 quid here. So I definitely want the AJ. So that'll give me a defence. If I've got Schmeichel and goals, I will need a striker if I play Schmeichel and goals. Is James Forrest a forward card yet? Still a midfielder? For God's sake, man. I actually don't mind the Forest, because he could be... Yeah, I'm going to bid on Forest because I think he'll be cheap enough. Jesus. Maybe not. Is that McBride on this as well, by the way? What the hell did they put his minimum bid on? I'm not... I think Forest will play a lot early season where we're still doing all this transfer stuff. I don't know how far to push that. I don't want McBride to spend too much on it if I don't end up biting. Eggman is a mid. He's going to be terrible then. McBride is the Scottish whale. McBride is a big account, by the way. McBride has got wedge. Must have got an all-inclusive. Yeah. He must have done. Wee Jamesy. And Forrest is really cheap. Like, he's really cheap. He's got lots of cards. He's old. It's just this is the number one, you know, and McBride has put his eBay max bid on. I don't know what he's put on that. Ralston's always a good cheap pickup early on, just as that kind of cover player. But again, I've got enough of them, and it's not something I need to do today. I'll be more interested in getting a lot of these guys for number twos and stuff. I'll need to be the first bidder, but on a lot of the number twos to kind of scare some people off. It's great fun. Honestly, you can win money with them as well, and they also do a lot of stuff. It's not been revealed what they'll do for this season, but Sorare, because they're official partners with all the clubs and the leagues that they're partner with, they do amazing money can't buy experiences, like playing football with Zidane, meeting Mbappe. I got to play at Anfield one year. just generally like tickets and stuff like that as well. Premier League. I don't think there's any. I don't think Celtic and all that gives Sorare tickets this year. That the first year that they had it, the Celtic gave Sorare like number 7 access, the fancy restaurant, and I got like almost all the tickets for it. So there's more that does become available. It's not widely available. Not lots of people win that stuff because they're very competitive, those competitions. But by having a top Celtic collection, you know, there will be stuff that will come from that across the season, as well as historically, generally speaking. But yeah, these ones are the most expensive. There's no don't get it twisted. These ones, and then the second most expensive version of a card is generally going to be what's called the jersey mint or the shirt number. So have I got a good? Yeah, I've got an example of this here. So in your sticker book, the better your sticker book is, your guys get a bonus as well. So all my Celtic sticker books get an extra 5%. So whatever they score, I get 5% more because I've got this sticker book thing on the go. And the James McCarthy card is actually a great example of the points that are available in the sticker book, because I've got a special edition of him. So we got this edition released because we won the league. This is a champion edition card. That's why it's got a funny design. But the number is 16. He was shirt number 16 for us as well. So that's the second most expensive version of a card. If you get special editions, of course, like the Forrest and McGregor I've got here in the Abada, they were pretty expensive because they were just special editions. But the McCarthy one, by coincidence, was his shirt number as well. If we click on the points here, you can see like where you get all the points for the card and whatever. Wee bit more complicated when you go into that stuff. I didn't plan on discussing that, but it's just a wee bit of background why McBride is hell for leather on the one-offs here. 6 minutes to the Negren goes. I wonder if it's McBride that's still top. No, it's somebody else. Now, he's actually on a plane, so I know he's not going to be coming back for this one, which means McBride will be going for the number 2, which means I maybe need to wait a little bit for a Negren. And it's interesting to see where people topped out on some of their auctions. So this guy, Ashoka, had topped out at 175, essentially. And McBride's topped out at basically 300. Yeah, I think the main value of Forest, Charlie Dunbar, my man, good to see you, is early season more than anything, because like we've got no wingers right now. Like if I put the depth chart on that we normally feature here on the channel for 2 seconds, this is the squad as it sits right now. I'll just remove your comment there, Charlie, so we can see. But everyone fancies Negren to be playing midfield now. So our wingers are Yang, Dyson, and Forrest. Jota's obviously injured until January or whatever. So I expect us to buy some people and whatever, but until that happens and until they get up to speed and whatever, I think early season Forest is actually a good pick for the, I don't want to say the dark horse or whatever, but a guy that might be a wee bit under the radar price-wise compared to some of the other ones. But yeah, once money's spent, it's spent. So I'm not in a rush to buy number ones that I know are super overpriced, but I'm always excited and interested to see how they go. I would really like the Tierney. I would really like the Tierney, because Tierney's shirt number 63. That's going to take ages to come out. You know, so I like that. I think AJ is definitely the defender I'm going to run for. It ends in 25 minutes. Oh, these all end kind of similar times, by the way. So, let's go for AJ. Can we get it? No. Jesus, Jimmy's. McBride, what are you doing to me? What have I done to McBride? Jesus, man. Okay. It's going to be hard to break in. The defence is, I need a defence and I need a forward. Those are the two most sensitive ones. They will probably sell about 10 to 20 of the rares before we get a match. So, like I say, I expect the prices to come down quite sharply, quite steeply. But I also want a cool Celtic collection. Now, I wonder if, see, McGregor is just super safe. I wonder when McBride has put a wedge in, by the way. Tom Rogic. I've got a Tom Rogic. He's retired now, obviously, but I've got a champion edition Rogic. Got him in his wee case because he's retired now. Big Tam. This is games for West Brom. We don't get the Celtic scores because the thing, it just doesn't go back for eternity. After a while, it kind of closes off. So we don't get any Celtic scores. But Rogic was a beast. Was a beast. How much did I pay for this? 100 quid at the time, which you think he's went 0.1 ETH on every card? I could see that. Yeah, he is going to go off his nut with me. But I would have, but see with that AJ, like I would buy that at those prices. I'm not just running them up, and I'm trying my best not to just run them up everywhere. You'll probably watch this afterwards anyway. There's another Adam Montgomery. We got Adam Montgomery cards last season. Don't know how useful he'll be, but if Adam Montgomery goes on loan at St Johnstone or something like that, and you keep him like this, he'll help your Celtic sticker book little bonus. And he can play for St Johnstone every week and maybe score a few goals. Or I'm saying St Johnstone because he was on loan there before, but you know what I mean. The mints come in batches of club. Will end in the space of 30 minutes. The two of come straight back on auction once the ones. Oh, nice. So Charlie with a bit of insight here from what happened with the JPL, the Jupiler Pro League, the Belgian league to Celtic fans probably. So interesting. So we maybe, and also instant buy will come up. So instant buy is kind of driven. So see the price that goes on the shop here, the instant buy shop. This is kind of driven, or this is driven by the auction prices. So if we run the auctions up really high, the instant buy will be really high. And we don't really want that. So there's a few reasons why we don't want to run these auctions right up. But yeah, they're all kind of closing at the same time. I'm a wee bit gutted that I won't. Yeah, I don't think I can spend much more of my. I think my max per player would be like that 150 range, and it would need to be somebody super powerful, like an AJ, a Carter Vickers, Hitate, McGregor, Maeda, Negren. But again, all these guys. Is Ida maybe good value? I don't think so. Not as a one-of. Nah, I'm not that buzzing on Ida as a one-of. Johnny Kenny the same. Yeah, I think I might try and squeeze this Forest a little bit more. He's not put 0.1 on Forest, has he? Oh, Jesus Christ, McBride. I'm going to owe him a few pints here, I'm gonna. Instant buys go in between card 1 and 2. Nice. It's fantasy football corner as well. The very first 10, 15 minutes of the show, I kind of did a big explainer piece. So I'll answer any questions you've got in the chat, but if you want to just hear it, it's at the beginning of the stream. Yeah, and on a permo is nailed it here, but they're actually non-fungible. Wow, Tierney Limited just sold for 160. Yamada's got Japanese cards that are in season that you can play in the money leagues, but he doesn't have a Celtic one yet. A wee chip. He'll probably get one of them the next day or two. But if Limited started, they're all closing now. Oh, there's a bunch of them closing. Let's just have Limited Andrea up side by side here. Limited Hitate at 50 quid. Yeah, the limited pricing's a bit more like there'll be rares priced like this very soon. Like there just will be. Hitate for 50 quid. The Tierney is a special piece because it's the first Tierney Celtic card that we're getting. Negren is up at 440. Wow. Yang is at 100 quid. Are people just bending McBride over here? So McBride did have a budget for Yang of 100 quid. Interesting. He's probably got something similar then on Forest, which is, yeah, not that exciting for me. Is McBride back for this on the plane? Has he got plane Wi-Fi? No, someone else is going for it. That is an insane price for Negren. Nice wee bit of cash for Celtic to pick up, I guess. Maybe they'll make a couple hundred quid or something. But yeah, 100 quid for the first Yang as went. Fair play to that guy. Bernardo one-of is up at 100 quid as well. Scales is pushing there. And we've got a little raft of guys in and behind. But Negren is going to be a monster, guys. You can feel it. The fantasy football scouts I've had their say. Tierney at 120. I think Tierney comes down a good bit because everyone knows his injury record. And yeah, it feels like he will, by the way. James Rendell, it feels like he'll be playing a lot of midfield. Yeah, probably a blanket 100. No, they're non-fungible. They're non-fungible. If you want to check, probably better to search it than for me to explain it. But yeah, Negren will play midfield, lots of AA, lots of AA. Negren will be a monster. And yeah, Dyson, I don't know if I can quite pay that for Dyson, especially with the little bit of transfer jeopardy that's going on at the moment. There's no way he's put 100 quid on Osmond, has he? It must be 50 quid on Osmond. And I'm not spending more than that for him. But there you go. There's Negren, number 2, straight away on. I think based on how the one-off went, there's probably 2 or 3 guys that will spend more than me on Negren. So I'm probably not going to rush into that. And yeah, if the number 2s just come straight on with a 5-hour timer. No rumors. Why would no? Vickers has got a huge contract with us. Has clearly got injury problems, and his on the ball ability won't take him to a better level than us. The non-fungible just thing means like you own these cards. You can't fake them, you can't copy them, and they're official merchandise as well. It's not just like a pirated kind of thing or whatever. But yeah, they're tangible digital things as much as a digital thing can be tangible. And that's why people were comfortable spending this amount of money on them, like their Pokemon cards or something like that, you know. Not because of the money you can win as well. It's a big part of it as well, of course, the fantasy football element. But yeah, that's where probably the comfort comes from it, is that you own the cards for life. And as you can see with my collection, like, you know, if players transfer, brilliant, you know, you can keep using them. Scales is up to 150. Wow. Tierney's up at 150. McKeown, if McKeown is about that price, that would be fine, but that's probably McBride, and it's probably got a lot more to go on it. Yeah. So I say I'm not going to push McBride on any of these. I'm probably going to try and sneak a few number 2s. I don't think there's any number 1s here I can realistically get for a price that's halfway usable. So I'm probably going to try and early bid a few number 2s when they come. And this is bad strategy by me, because if I do it on camera, everyone will see my max bid. And then some of these guys will come after me, no doubt. And yeah, so I'll be able to go and check all the prices of these once the auctions close. We'll have a wee scan at that. That'll be kind of what wraps the show up, as it were. McBride Ace is one. We're going to see that a lot, aren't we? We're going to see that a lot, no doubt about it. It's really a Alex Hamad and McBride battle for limiteds. Tavernier will go for a lot. I don't think there's much worry about that, to be honest with you. He always goes for a lot. 135 he's sitting on at the moment. With 18 minutes to go. We've seen like Negren with 20 minutes to go was it just under 300 and went to 450. I don't know if Tavernier will quite go to 450 levels off of how he finished last year, but like Tavernier, we mentioned earlier in the show, like is one of the top scorers. So 76. McBride is winning all of these by Tierney up to 260. Somebody must have busted McBride. He must have went to 250 on that. Yep, 250 on Tierney. Wow. Well, that'll save McBride some money from some of the other places that we ran him up on. No one's bidding on Quan. No surprise there. Sinisalo isn't a bad play, because if Schmeichel goes out, you need a Sinisalo. But for a one-off, I don't really care about that too much. McGregor, Trusty. I don't mind. I wouldn't mind maybe going for Trusty. But yeah, I'm going to catch a few of these number 2 bids, I think. I never normally really enter the fray for these one-offs. Generally, yeah, because I'm kind of past that. I don't need the number ones for a good sticker book score, a good collection of score these days. So I'll generally buy enough of them across the season, maybe win one or two, trade a few, that kind of thing. But the Tierney I was quite interested in, and sometimes I think McBride has maybe wrecked it, but sometimes number ones there can be an exception where like this Hatate, like see if everyone leaves us alone, the second Hatate might go for 140, for example, just because of reasons people walk away from an auction and wait for the next one. So there is sometimes instances where the number one might be a wee bit cheaper than number two, but that will correct itself out, and it's kind of circumstantial more than a rule. So I'll maybe stick a bid. Don't know if I want to stick a bid on Ida. Here's Tierney. Who's bidded on this right away? Liam McFarlane. 10% chance to open a special card. Oh yeah, I forgot there's bonuses on this as well. Again, these are not the entry level cards. These are the limit. The limiteds are more entry level. So again, I'll have a look at the prices once they're all done. Or we can even just click on Negren here. What did the first limited Negren go for? 138. And as you can see, before the Celtic movie, it was going for like a tenner. And that was in a good league, very good scores. He will like drop in price, these ones, because there'll be 1,000 of these. So once this kind of demand that we see is on the go now, the piranhas in the tank that are eating all these up, once that's kind of satisfied, prices will kind of normalize and come down to more recreational spending levels, let's call it. But yeah, none of these are really jumping out to me to be a good opportunity to squeeze in on. But yeah, no one's auto bidding on the number twos yet. So I definitely fancy myself to do a bit of that. Quan McBride, what are you doing buying a Quan? I can't believe he actually bidded on him. Tavernier Limited went for 115, so kind of similar to what we've seen with Negren there. So I think the Tavernier is just a very well scored card. It's just no getting away from it. McGregor's up at 250 as well. I wonder if that's going to be a McBride card or someone else beat him to that. Yeah, they've cracked. They're all cracking. No, McBride will save some money here. After all these one-offs, I'm going to look at McBride's gallery and see what he ended up with. Shh, we don't tell Mrs. McBride. Shh. Shh. Don't tell Mrs. McBride. Adam Montgomery, 15 quid. Is this a McBride? Yeah, we'll just leave that go. Hatate at 150. And they'll sell 100 of these. And like I say, it's a very high chance that these are the most expensive ones of them all. Some of them, as we've just mentioned, with just kind of the auction psychology that goes around it, might change. That might not be the case. The prices might feel like they level out after 4 of them have came out, because there seems to be quite a few people with big wallets bidding on a few of these. Here we go. McGregor. What did the last one go for? 240. I think I'll stick 150 on that. Because you just really know what you're getting with McGregor. Hopefully people see that's me and do what happened to McBride and just leave it alone. So I don't mind getting a McGregor bid on that. Don't tell anyone. Guys, don't tell anyone what my max bid is. They look very well priced, Rangers cards. Rangers were kind of shit last year, SO5 wise. So if on the market, they are not going for much. Yeah, those are the limiteds. We've been mainly looking at rares, so if we can just compare them for a second. Tavernier. All these other guys, yeah, they're all cheap as fuck, man, aren't they? Like, really, across the board, way cheaper. Celtic are so good. Guys, Celtic are one of the best teams in the world. Lyle Cameron, because of his Dundee scores, is actually getting a bit of market attention here. Raskin, the best midfielder in the world, it looks like. And Higaman, a midfielder. Oof, that's sore. Tate's going at 170. Kenny's up to 57, man. Jesus. Yeah, Rangers do have a lot of turnover as well. So there's maybe a wee bit of that from the Rangers fans. They're waiting for a bit of discovery on the squad and transfer business. Engels is up at 230. Is that a McBride win? No, the other guy. Wow, it looks like McBride is losing out on a lot of the big players like this guy's squeezing him out of. Yeah, I think McBride would have been a wee bit similar to me where he would want the one-offs. He's put all of his bids on because he's about to get on the plane. But again, he's not going stupid on them. Oh, Inamura. Inamura with a Celtic card. Yes, give us a bit of that. Let's just put 20 quid on it. Now that starts from number 15 because he's already got 14 Albrecht Nagata cards. Did I really need to bid that? I've already got an Inamura. I guess not. I think I'll just turn my bid off for that actually. Stop. Yeah. So that'll just leave me on £4 at the moment. We'll get that back when someone outbids us. Inamura snuck in there. Trusty, not too bored about. Tierney will probably be expensive for a little bit. Yeah, AJ is who I want. I want to bid on AJ when that card turns around. AJ McGregor. I'm hoping the second Dyson won't be that dear. Brett, I am personally waiting for, because now with the crafting thing, you'll be able to do the tell us what league it's in move. I'm waiting until everything's in the factory. We've been outbid on Inamura. I've just got a wee notification on my phone, so that's good. The Glasgow Godzilla. That's it. That's it indeed. Shamal George for cheap. Nice. That's a goalkeeper, isn't it? Nice. He was at Livingston. He's now rumoured for St Mirren. Interesting. Yeah. So just wait until everything's out there. The Bundesliga will be the last league, the way you can turn your essence, your shards, what we mentioned earlier in the show, into a card. So I'm going to wait for Bundesliga to, and then everything's in the pool. Everything, you know. Fair enough. Yeah. Shamal George doesn't sound like a guy that would play for St Mirren for me. Doesn't feel like good enough, but fair enough. If he was really cheap and he's moved there, what do I know? When it comes to St Mirren goalkeepers and whatnot. Yeah, it's a Tate. We want that. It's definitely still Sinisalo as the number 2. Definitely. Who's bid on the Gren? I wonder if it's one of those other guys that are spending all the money. No, it's Liam. 460, man. He's going to go for a lot. Yeah, the second Forest, we'll go for that. We'll get the second Forest. I want AJ. I want McGregor. I want Hatate. Yes, I'll go for those 3 mids and hope we get at least 2 of them. We'll try for Dyson. I guess I might as well stick a wee bid on. Kenny's probably more fun than Ida right now, isn't he? Like in terms of like thinking about, yeah, maybe he's going to play. I expect Ida to play against St Mirren, but see if Kenny started, would you be that surprised? The way pre-seasons went, I don't think so. Let's go. I don't mind either. I don't mind either. I think he'll play for the most part. The only thing that would upset me about Ida is if we went and actually signed another striker. I'm more coming to the opinion that Brendan Rodgers with Yamada, Kenny, and Ida, although he's wanting to add goals into. Wow, CCV went for 500. I missed that. I don't think he'll sign any strikers. You know. Yeah. Wow, 450. Carl Vickers, like I mentioned at the tip-off, one of the best defenders in the game. Schmeichel's not too far behind him, almost 500 for Schmeichel. It took me a long time to get Schmeichel down as low as 300 last season. I expect that to be the same again this year. So we're winning on bids for Ida, McGregor, not Hatate. We've been outbid on him by Aiden. What did the last Hatate go for? 2. Maybe I'll get some other bids in and I'll maybe double back to that one. And that's also true as well. That is also true. And it's not a bad thing. For, as long as you can come off the bench and score, not starting isn't a problem. Even win a penalty, get an assist or something, you know. Maybe bid on Kenny. This is Kenny's scores for Celtic last year. Got his wee goal against Aberdeen for 68. And he got an assist off his backside against Ross County. Wee 60. This is his Europa League scores, which was quite fun to see at the time. Someone tell the guy that has bidded 40 on proper, he needs to be put in a mental hospital. That's funny. Yeah, so maybe double back. Wow, my Ada's up at 440. Jesus, yeah, we need an Ida then, don't we? If Maeda and Negren, I've got a Yamada already as well, so that might work out. Yeah, so I think Ida and Kenny is my move. If this is the pricing kind of levels that these guys are finding themselves at, it will take a while before the rare versions of these will come into a price I'm happy with. I wonder what the limiteds are kind of tracking at. What did the first Dyson Limited go for? 85. Yeah, so that's not as bad. But as you can see, the classics are like £3. So you could buy a £3 Dyson with the in-season whoever else's, and it would still work. You can play that. The early limiteds are pretty mentally priced, but we're kind of used to this, aren't we? It kind of always happens, especially with Celtic, because Celtic are such a backable team. It's normally the same sort of exposure we see to PSG, to Bayern Munich, the big power teams in their domestic leagues, and do well in the Champions League, because Celtic's Champions League scores last year were really good, really encouraging for Celtic fans and Celtic SO5 players. Right, these guys are all coming out number 2s now. There's Dyson must have went for 440 or something. Wow, AJ is up at 300 now. Wow, I might need to wait for number 3s and 4s, by the way. But yeah, the defender, I think spending on AJ is one of the things to do, I think, for me. Spend up on AJ. Try and squeeze in a Forrest and a McGregor. And then maybe like Ida, Kenny. Can't believe Forrest is still a mid. I wonder who's bid on the Tierney. Liam McFarlane as well. He'll be coming for some. Liam, if you're in the chat, fist bump to you. And yeah, limited's going an hour from now rather than the rares that have got another 4 hours to go. And I think, like, although the first ones of these, the prices will come down quite a lot, I think you will, yeah, you'll see that more than limited, certainly, anyway. And anyone who does sign up on the Celts Are Here channel, that gets £100 of credit to buy your first players with from Instant Buy and from the market. Can we look at instant buy real quickly? Do we have any Celtic instant buy? Not yet. Callum Osmond for 60 quid. Wow, I hope that's not McBride. It is. Somebody's just ran him up on that. That's a fucking mare. So at least it's a one-off, but and if he comes out as a rookie, because he's not played senior football yet, that will be quite cool. Kinda. It will happen. So after 30 days, you get an extra point score now rather than 90 days. That's for these cards. So if it's not implemented yet, it'll be implemented kind of imminently. But yeah, we've got 3 more one-off auctions to go. We've got Osmond, Palma, and Forest. We've not even looked at the super rare pricing. By the way, I wonder what these have been going for. Dyson's up to 600. Wow, it's not really much more than the rare, is it? Some guys have maybe went already. I don't know, actually. No, they're all still the ones. I don't think anyone's went yet. All right, let's look at the uniques quickly. Yeah, Dyson's up at 1600. Tierney not too far behind. All right, so let's see. We should have an AJ number 2. Yeah, let's bid on that. I think we need to spend on AJ. So we'll put a bid on that. I don't mind, because AJ is a top scorer. Top scorer. And then Kenny, what did the first Kenny go for? 73, nice. Don't think he'll go as high as that. So let's see, we've got our AJ bid. We've got Kenny and Ida bids. We've got McGregor bids. We've not got Hitati. And I've still got a chunky wee balance there of about a third of my budget. Okay, I'm happy with that for now. I think. Yeah, I would like Hitati in the mix as well, but I wouldn't spend much more on Hitati. I'd maybe go to 140. Yeah, I would do that. If no, he's bidded it. Yeah, that's fine. He can take that Hitati. I don't think I'll be bidding on much else. For now, or Forest. That's who we need. So did the last Forest just go for? 68. Yeah, it feels only appropriate to do 67, doesn't it? Awesome. Right, let's see. My auctions. What have I went for? We've got AJ, we've got Forest, we've got Kenny, we've got McGregor, we've got Ida. I already own Inamura and Yamada, although Japanese can temporarily still play in this mode. Have went for 250. Wow. Shows you the Sorare confidence in Russell Martin, doesn't it? Luis Palma, yeah, he's got the technical ability, I think, to play at Celtic's level, but he's got no football IQ or bravery or strength or pace to play SPFL level. Really, he should be playing where he came from, the lower reaches of the Greek league, or where he's going, the Polish league. Buyer beware on that. And yeah, I'll maybe swoop back around for Osmonds and Clarks and whatever later on, but that's not a priority for me. Let's have a look at McBride, see what he actually caught in the end. No limiteds. No rares. Oh, highest average score. Oh, let's do new. Sorry. So let's see. Rares. What did he get? He got a nice wee batch. He got Jota for 100. Ouch. McKeown. Quan 42. Adam Montgomery 15. Trusty 143. Johnny Kenny, 73. Forrest, 68. Osmond, 61. Tillio, 46. Oh, that's sore. Josh Clark, 46. If he's a rookie, that maybe works out okay. 46 for Welsh, 45 for Doohan. Yeah. Some people, not me. I did run him up on the Forest, but that was it. Of the ones he actually won, the only thing I ran him up on was Forest. So he's already got a Yamada. He's actually got a few Yamadas he's picked up. Let's see what he got in limited. Scales are trusty. I don't know, which is why I'm not jumping into one right now. I'd rather go for Vickers, Trusty, or Tierney. So limited, they actually got a lot more. He got Quan for 20. Ooh. Trusty 65 might not be too bad. Hitate for 50 is pretty good by what we're looked at everywhere else, really, isn't it? McGregor 110. Tillio £18. Dyson 85. For limiteds, this is quite a lot, by the way. Because there will be 1,000 of these. They will come down in price rather significantly. And yeah, Rangers cards are going away now, and not even on the same level. Rangers will score well, but here's Dessers, for example. Like, can score okay. Scoring goals is still scoring goals, isn't it? But yeah, they're just not on the same level as us in terms of actual team value. And then let's do team. Do we have Celtic on instant buy yet? No, we don't. Let's go back to the auctions. And let's put in Celtic again. All right, so I'll be back to check this personally for myself later on, right? But we're looking at... Oh, I think I've been outbid on everyone, by the way. Oh, no, these are things that have ended. Let me just double check. Have I been outbid? No, winning. Yeah. So the 2 forwards, the 2 mids, and the defender. Yeah, I'm still on all of them. Nice. I'll be checking them back for me personally later. But yeah, if I didn't end up with any number 2s, I wouldn't be too surprised. Maybe I need to wait. Historically, my favorite number, and it's not because it's my favorite number, but just generally, like, the one that I come up with the most in my gallery is number 6s. I tend to have a lot of number 6s in my gallery, so maybe that's what we need to wait for Celtic cards. I'll certainly be waiting for number 6s for guys like Osmond and whatever, little rookie cards we might try and pick up. But I can't believe the price Dyson went to, by the way. Absolutely frightening. So yeah, I'll be back to catch this probably on my own channel later tonight, Quinny 3001. But Celtics are here. We do lots of Celtic content, of course. Sorare love the content here at the channel. They love Celtic, they love Quinny, they love everything around there. And they've given us a special link. So any Celtic fans that do get involved get an extra Brucey bonus. It's normally $50, pounds, whatever, but they've doubled it. So hopefully you guys get to enjoy that, get to have the benefit of it. So I've been working with Sorare myself for over 5 years at this point. Yeah, over 5 years. And they love to support us whenever they can. So hopefully some of that, you guys get to enjoy it. And as I say, wait for the first couple of these to go away. Prices will get cheaper. And then you'll get, so the £100 credit, probably should have explained this earlier, but it gives you 50% off anything you buy. So you've got £100 of credit. You can spend that on one card for 200, but you only spend 100. Or you could buy 10 cards for a tenner that only cost you a fiver, or 20 cards, whatever. You can do it however way you want it. It's a balance. It's not like a coupon. So yeah, thanks everyone who tuned in today. I know it's not maybe everyone's cup of tea or whatever, but I wanted to get stuck into this. I was happy to talk about anything else you wanted. Maybe I struggled to keep up with the chat a little bit. Apologies. On Wednesday, we'll have a transfer window video. On Friday, we'll be live to do the weekly catch-up show, and we might squeeze another video in throughout the week somehow, somewhere. So please do stay tuned. And yeah, the Polish league isn't covered, so that's not a good thing. He'll play Conference League or whatever, which is fine. But yeah, watch out for any transfers to the negative effect, as it were. But I'll be live on my own channel later today. There'll be a lot of recording I'll be doing today, so all the channels will have lots of videos coming out. And yeah, like, subscribe, share, retweet. Well done, McBride, on some of the number 1s you've got. Wish me luck for some of the number 2s. And if you do have any problems or questions about setting your account up, getting started, jump into the comment section. And when maybe next week, when McBride comes back his holiday, the Thursday live stream will be back. So any questions and tips and tricks and whatever you want to go through, me and McBride will be more than happy to help you. But yeah, thanks again everyone that tuned in. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hail, hail, and moan the hoops.